Tonight, Sask Polytech lays off another round of staff as international student enrollment drops. Why the price of beef at your local grocery store will keep rising. And canoeing in Wascana Lake to raise awareness about a threatened waterway.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Thursday, August 7th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. One of Saskatchewan's post-secondary institutions says it's in a financial crunch and it's laying off staff as a result. As Jeremy Warren reports, it's not the first time Sask Polytech has laid off staff this year, and there's one major factor behind the cuts.
There are fewer international students coming to Saskatchewan for higher education, and a declining enrollment is putting pressure on budgets at the province's post-secondary institutions. Saskatchewan Polytechnic just announced a second round of layoffs this year. It says a big drop in international student enrollment left a big hole in the budget. Sask Polytech sent layoff notices to 14 out-of-scope employees and is not filling 8 vacant positions. The school also axed 27 employees back in April. In a statement, Sask Polytech says the decline is the result of federal immigration policy changes, including a lower limit on student visas. Students are concerned but understand the school's financial pressures.
We believe that the institution, for us, Sask Polytech, is really trying its best to combat the situation. And I believe Sask Poly's first intention or their focus is students first.
International students pay higher tuition than domestic students for the same courses. About 4,300 international students were enrolled at Sask Polytech in the 2023-24 school year. That's more than double the amount from 5 years ago. But numbers are nosediving since Ottawa's immigration changes. Earlier this year, the University of Saskatchewan and University of Regina reported lower international student enrollment. The opposition NDP blames the Sask Party government for the financial pressures in higher education.
The Sask Party should have never starved our post-secondary schools of funding, made them so dependent on international student fees.
Sask Polytech did not specify which positions, departments, or programs are affected by the recent layoffs, but the school's statement did have a warning. More difficult decisions are ahead. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
People living in a Saskatoon condo complex are wondering when the party will stop. They want someone to deal with teens racing and setting off fireworks in a high school parking lot. A petition last year didn't help, but now they're hoping a serious accident last month will spur action. Dan Zakreski reports.
This isn't the exhibition or Canada Day.
The squeals and screeches, they go on all night long.
It's this parking lot at Centennial Collegiate on a summer weeknight.
You hear squealing tires.
Robert Spencer says the pattern is familiar to people who live nearby.
Well, around 10 o'clock at night, cars start piling into this parking lot, and then you can hear loud laughter and talking. Then you start hearing tires screeching, and this goes on 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Some nights there are fireworks at 11, 12, 2 o'clock, and they're flashing their lights and high beam. They're revving their engines high. It's just constant noise over here.
The condo owners put together a petition last summer. Spencer says it was met with a deafening silence.
And we've talked to the police. We've gone to the school board. We've gone to the schools. We went to the MLAs. And nothing gets done. It's like pass the buck. The police say you got to get the school to put up signs. The school says, well, that we don't want to get involved in this. And it's just round and round we go.
Spencer says no one in the buildings is surprised about what happened here a couple of weeks ago. Police were called to this parking lot just after midnight about 2 weeks ago. Now, the lot was full of teens. 3 kids had been hit by a car, and one of them was hurt seriously enough he had to have surgery to take pressure off his brain. Now, the 17-year-old driver of the car had taken off, but he turned himself into police later. He's been charged with aggravated assault and 2 counts of assault causing bodily harm. Spencer says condo owners feel bad for the kids who were hurt, but they're skeptical whether it will change anything.
Nobody does anything about it. The noise, the ruckus over here, it still continued.
Dan Zakreski, CBC News, Saskatoon.
At the stroke of midnight Thursday, U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariffs went into effect around the globe. They target more than 60 countries, with repercussions rippling far beyond. Trump has promised the new import taxes will bring the U.S. billions in revenue. This comes after Canada and the U.S. did not reach a trade deal by the August 1st deadline, resulting in a 35% import tax on some Canadian goods not covered by CUSMA. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says Prime Minister Mark Carney has broken his promise to speed up development in Canada. Poilievre is unveiling his Canadian Sovereignty Act and is promising to legalize pipelines through new legislation.
It seeks to legalize economic development, reward those who build, protect Canadian innovation, and get shovels in the ground on major nation-building projects between now and March the 14th, the one-year anniversary of Mark Carney taking office.
The proposed legislation repackages many Conservative campaign promises, including killing the West Coast Oil Tanker Moratorium Act, the Industrial Carbon Tax, the electric vehicle mandate, and the ban on single-use plastics.
Outside of the bill, we are making a call to action. Today, Conservatives are calling on Prime Minister Carney to have pipeline construction underway for at least 2 projects and to have at least 1 new natural gas liquefaction project.
Earlier this week, we told you about 2 women traveling the province to spread awareness about the Saskatchewan River Delta. They say it's under major threat from an irrigation project and a nearby hydroelectric dam. On Thursday, they were in Regina, making waves in Wascana Lake to bring attention to the issue.
Okay, I'll give you guys a push back. This is our first time, and this is something we had talked about for quite a while. And then now we decided it's time for action. We can't sit back anymore. And we started this whole thing without any funds, but we gathered a great team that's been helping us, and that's what's made a difference. But we can't sit and do nothing anymore. Where it's at now, it's almost all gone. Like from when I was a child, the water was so deep. The lake itself was 30 miles across. 30 miles across and 30 to 40 feet deep. Now it's less than 2 miles, and it's only 2 feet of water, and the rest is mud and sludge. So we know within the next decade it's going to be gone, especially now that they're going to put this irrigation project in. There will be nothing left of Saskatchewan River Delta.
We have land user trappers that still continue to go out on the land, and it's only for their traditional and cultural way of living that they do it. It's not a means of livelihood, but it's a way of keeping on our traditions and our culture, which is a priority. We have this beautiful delta, but it's dying. So I think we're here for that. We're here to voice that. And we have a lot of people that are walking alongside us, and we're truly grateful for that.
Another Queen City X has come and gone in Regina, and despite organizers calling it a success, attendance for the annual fair was down from last year. Nearly 75,000 entries were recorded, but it was just over 100,000 in 2024. Regina's Exhibition Association says this year's lower numbers were a result of numerous factors, including the fact the riders were not playing at home, the fact the X ran over the holiday weekend, a delay in ticket sales, and the pause of several activities like Newcomers Day, the 5K Midway Run, and the Pancake Breakfast. Despite this, the organizers say they are proud of how things went, especially the added safety measures for Kings Park Speedway.
We made sure that we had first responders, we had the fire crews on site just to make sure that when they're doing their thing, we have the highest level of safety. The racers are safe, the spectators are safe. There was a lot of consideration going into that we've never had to address before.
And there was also an increase in police presence on the exhibition grounds and a new hydration station. The X also switched its Midway rides provider this year, opting to go with BC-based West Coast Amusements after its contract with North American Midway Entertainment was not renewed. Well, the day in Regina started out cloudy and a little bit rainy, but eventually the sun did come out along with some very warm temperatures and another humid day as well. But don't expect the sun to stick around for too long. Weather specialist Helena Mahalik says we are in for some unsettled weather on the way, some showers and thunderstorms to be exact. And depending where you are, you might be getting a lot of rain. In the meantime, we have some unsettled weather of our own to talk about in terms of thunderstorms, and Helena will bring you all of that in her forecast after the break. Well, we know the price of just about everything has gone up at the grocery store, but beef is one item in particular that has seen a jump. In fact, the latest numbers show ground beef has gone up 25% in just the last year alone, far outpacing inflation, which currently sits around 1.7%. For more on this, we are joined by Stuart Smythe. He is a professor in the Department of Agriculture and Resource Economics at the University of Saskatchewan. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you kindly.
So one of the major factors for this price increase is the ongoing drought. How is that impacting things?
So because we've had multiple years of drought throughout much of the key beef producing regions in Saskatchewan and Alberta, farmers have had to reduce their herd sizes over the last few years just simply to be able to have enough feed on hand to get their livestock through the winter months, or also to take advantage of some of the higher prices. As you know, the average age of farmers is nearing 60, and some of these farmers want to downsize a little bit and reduce the demands on their daily activities. And so they're, you know, with prices being a little bit higher right now, I think that's also factoring into it.
And how are consumer habits playing into these high prices?
So we've had very consistent demand for beef. We've had in the last 5 years, there's been a little over 3 million more Canadians. So a lot of the people that are immigrating to Canada are coming from regions or countries in the world where they've been predominantly plant-based diets. So as they move to Canada and want to expand or move away a little bit from the plant-based, I think we're going to see continued sustained demand for beef over the next few years.
So we know that some grocery chains have been accused of price gouging in the past. Is this related to the prices as well?
I'm not able to see any evidence of that. You know, where there would be more likelihood for that to occur would be in the meat processing side of things, where the top 4 meat processing companies in Canada account for 95% of the beef that's processed.
So are beef producers, you know, obviously they're struggling because of drought, but are they seeing any benefits with this high demand and with the prices increasing?
I think it's a bit of a trade-off. You know, certainly if farmers want to finish beef on their farms to feed or to sort of to slaughter weights, then that requires additional costs and inputs that you've got to have more feed. The alternative is, you know, this fall, if prices remain pretty good and farmers may not have as much feed as they would hope for, we may see some additional sales of livestock in the fall as farmers take advantage of the higher prices.
And of course, you mentioned some of the challenges that they're facing. Do you foresee more beef producers maybe getting out of the cattle industry as a result of all this?
I think it's really going to depend on what moisture levels are like over the next couple of years. You know, as I said, we've had sustained drought for a number of years in lots of areas, and it's going to take more than 1 year of above average rainfall before I think a lot of farmers are looking at increasing their herd sizes. It might take 2 years of you know, surplus moisture before farmers feel that, you know, they've maybe moved out of that sustained drought period into more reasonable moisture conditions, and so they'll look at expanding their herds and, you know, being confident that they'll have enough feed to get those livestock through the winter months.
So as a result of all of that, where do you sort of see prices going from here? Is there going to be more of an increase, or maybe are we in for some relief?
I wish I could give you a confidence vote that it was going to be the latter, but when I look at the market and the economic conditions and the sustained demand, I just don't see a lot of factors that are going to contribute to a reduction in beef prices. We may be able to plateau it a little bit if things don't change much in the next 12 or 18 months, but I think consumers should likely be prepared for a continuation of some increase over the short term.
Okay, Stuart, thank you so much for your thoughts on this.
My pleasure.
Stuart Smythe is a professor in the Department of Agriculture and Resource Economics at the University of Saskatchewan. Emergency officials say a massive wildfire in the south of France is burning at a slower rate, but it is still considered out of control. One woman has died and 11 firefighters have been injured, according to local authorities. The fire has already burned through an area larger than Paris. It's destroyed dozens of homes and forced hundreds to flee. An investigation is underway to determine its cause. And Helena Mahalik is here now with a look at the forecast. I know we're, of course, dealing with fires of our own, Helena, but seems like there is some rain on the way to take care of that.
Yes, Ethan, there's lots of rainfall today and as well over the next few days coming our way. But with it, we're seeing some more severe conditions. Let's take a look at what's going on in the province right now. If you're watching live Thursday at 6:20 p.m., there is a severe thunderstorm warning in the southeast, specifically for the RMs of Coalfields, Beanfate, and North Portal. The storm is moving northeast at 10 kilometers an hour. The main risks include loony-sized hail and wind gusts up to 90 kilometers an hour. We're also seeing the possibility of funnel clouds developing in west central Saskatchewan along the Alberta border. But we have had a few days of rainfall this week. From the 5th to 7th of August, most of this rainfall is from Monday and Tuesday alone, but the RMs of Spalding and Davin got over 40 millimeters of rain, Craven over 30, and our major cities, Regina and Saskatoon, got over 20 millimeters of rain, and we're going to continue to see this trend over the next few days. Thursday night, we know there's a lot of severe activity in the province. Most of the southeast, including Regina, is under a severe thunderstorm watch, and we're going to continue to see some severe thunderstorms over the next few days. Friday, much of the province is going to get hit with this storm, but we're going to see the most of this thunderstorm activity in the northern grain belt for areas along Prince Albert. As we get into our weekend, might be the one to stay indoors because we have a big activity coming in, especially for central areas. Again, we're seeing that in the northern grain belt, but specifically in central areas along Saskatoon. As we get into the rest of our weekend, we are going to start seeing things clearing out on Sunday, just some rainfall in the far north. So just how much rainfall are we going to get over the next few days? Well, Saskatoon could get close to 50 millimeters of rain. This model is showing that Regina could get over 60 millimeters. Many areas of the southeast going to get hit with a lot of rainfall over the next few days. Northern Saskatchewan, not quite as much rainfall. We are seeing a better chance for the Pelican Narrows, but far north, areas like Uranium City, over 20 millimeters of rainfall, which is definitely a good thing. We know that the area could definitely use some rainfall. We're also going to see a bit of a breeze over the weekend. Specifically on Saturday, much of the province is going to be at close to 50 kilometers an hour wind gusts. So we're going to be seeing a lot of rain, a lot of wind, maybe the weekend to be staying indoors, Ethan.
Yeah, and a lot of rain falling where we've already seen it this week as well. Helena, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, the Art Gallery of Swift Current is running a 48-hour film challenge this weekend. Competitors have from Friday to Sunday evening to make a 2 to 10-minute short film. Anyone can enter, either solo or with a team of up to 5. All you need is a phone to record and, of course, to keep it family-friendly. Movies made during the challenge will be screened at the city's Cinema Twin Theatre on August 23rd. Stay with us. We have more news and a final look at the forecast after the break. Welcome back. Former Regina Police Chief Troy Hagen has died. Hagen served as chief from 2008 until 2016. In all, he spent almost 40 years working for the Regina Police Service, serving in numerous positions before reaching the force's top job. Heagen was born and raised in Regina and is being remembered as a mentor for many in the force. His work included implementing the 12-hour shift rotation, pension benefits, and an initiative to work with youth under 18.
And I know in speaking with others who worked with him during that time, they said for 8 years when he was the chief, there wasn't one single grievance. And it was just really his ability to listen, get a sense of what an issue was, and then work towards resolutions.
Heagen volunteered on a number of boards and committees. In 2014, he was appointed Officer of Canada's Order of Merit of the Police Forces. He also volunteered his time with several community-based organizations. Heagen is survived by his wife, children, and grandchildren. He was 67. And Helena is back with one last look at our rainy forecast.
Yes, Ethan, we're going to continue to see the rain over the next few days, and temperatures are going to be a bit cooler. Let's take a look at the forecast for the city of Regina. The rainfall is going to last until about Sunday. Regina definitely has a good chance of experiencing some thunderstorms, and with that, temperatures dropping down to the 20-degree mark Friday before dipping down even below 20 degrees to those high teens Saturday. By Sunday, we're seeing the sun coming back, and it's going to stick with us through the rest of the week, and temperatures will slowly return closer to seasonal, but we're not really going to reach that seasonal mark all throughout the week. The rainfall is going to continue Tuesday throughout the rest of the week. Saskatoon is also going to see cooler temperatures hovering around the 20-degree mark this weekend, and a very good chance of some rainfall. That's going to stop Sunday, but we're going to continue to see a chance of rainfall through next week. The sun is going to be out though, but we are going to continue to see temperatures a little bit cooler, returning to close to seasonal, but dropping down throughout the rest of the week. So Ethan, we had temperatures over 30 degrees last week, and now we're seeing temperatures below 20 degrees.
Yeah, and maybe some rain to provide one more growth spurt for the plants before they get harvested. Helena, thank you.
Thanks, Ethan.
And that is our news for this Thursday. For more news anytime, you can always head to our website or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or download the CBC News app. Thanks so much for watching.